Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday. I hope you guys had a good week. We made it here. For those of you in America, you had a short and fat week filled with plenty of food. I hope you guys in America had a wonderful Thanksgiving. For the rest of you that don't celebrate Thanksgiving, we appreciate you. We're thankful for you. Welcome to Massive Iron Live, the longest running lifting podcast in the history of the universe. I'm here every Friday at 11 Eastern. So please come back next week at 11 Eastern and join me. Before we get started, a couple of things. There are no dumb questions here, so don't feel like a question has been asked 1,000 times before. If it is something you feel that is a newbie question, go right ahead and ask it. There are no dumb questions or silly questions. I'm here to help you and meet you where you are at. Now, if your question doesn't go through, try shortening it. Sometimes longer questions don't go through the YouTube system. You can also try rewording things. Longer comments sometimes don't go through, but also comments that have words that YouTube doesn't like might not go through. If you are late to the party and want to message me, you can hit me up on Instagram, app and the barman, app and the barman. Hit me up with your questions via DM. I do that first thing in the morning every single day, and I would be glad to help. And what did I do here? I'm trying to get rid of the banners, media assets. There we go. I'm back to comments. I was trying to get rid of that banner. There we go. So I do have a topic of the day, and I want to be talking about the narrow path and red flags when it comes to processing, lifting, and nutrition information. Just start to think about 2026 and how we can maximize the year and avoid the pitfalls. I'm going to get into that in just a moment. Before I do so, it is obviously Black Friday. It is the Friday of Blackness, the day after Thanksgiving. Every year I put together some Black Friday deals for those of you that are interested. So I do have some Black Friday deals. I'm going to cover those really, really quickly. I'm not going to waste a lot of your time with them. But you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. I'm going to quickly go through the Black Friday deals. Let me turn off my heater here. Disappear. And again, they're on my website, superlivingtoday.com. These are going to run probably through December 1st or Cyber Monday or whatever. Most of them aren't that big of a deal, but I am reducing my custom workout down to only $29.99. If you're interested in a custom workout, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. Okay, above there, you can head over there, just search custom. Or you can search Black Friday and it'll pull up the 2025. This is completely custom. It's no messing around. It's no nonsense. Also, I have reduced the cost of my flags. These are one of the most, probably one of the biggest purchases I see off my website. The Massive Iron flags. I have 4 different kinds of Massive Iron Joe in the right-hand corner, the Massive Iron VIP, the Massive Iron biker one in the upper left. These are all $24.99. That's actually below my cost. So I think my cost is like $27.99. But we put things a little bit low for fun. So if you want one of those, you can snap one of those. Home gyms, I have a couple of them down here in my home gym. And if you have a home gym and want a nice flag edition, I would love for you to represent Massive Iron. Of course, every year I do the Massive Iron t-shirt for cheap. The cost, my cost on this is $12.99. It is below cost. So if you want to grab one for ho, go right ahead. Let's see. I dropped the drawstring bag to $19.99. This is a buck or two below cost. Again, all of this is at superlivingtoday.com. You can search it. And the gym bag. This is a big gym bag. I love this. I'm on my second one. It's bigger than it looks in that picture. It can carry a lot of stuff, and it's very, very durable. It's my favorite gym bag that I've ever owned. And I'm not just saying that, but if you want a really durable, nice looking gym bag that will hold a lot of crap, this is it. And this is below my cost by a couple of dollars as well. $59 for a gym bag, seems like a lot, but this is a really quality piece of equipment, and it is durable, and it is going to serve you well and last quite a long time. The Massive Omnibus series is basically my life's work in a PDF series, and each book series I've dropped to only $9.99. There's 8 total books in the series, so this is a big savings because buying all of them together on the site was 99 bucks. But this is a big savings. It'll actually save you about roughly 28 bucks if you buy them individually now. So you can head over to superlivingtoday.com, search Omnibus. Omnibus is actually in the navigation. And we're almost done. Phone consultations are normally 99 bucks. I dropped those down to $69.99. That's an hour consultation. We talk about anything you want, lifting, nutrition, whatever. Those are on sale. You can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, and search services or phone consultation. This one doesn't change, but just a reminder to my existing clients, if you want to save money, this is extremely popular. 1/3 of my clients actually do this. It is a year of coaching for only $699 bucks. After the first month of coaching, it's $89.40 a month. This actually saves you quite a bit. So if you are an existing client and you want to get you want to get in on this deal, you simply go in and sign up, and this will start after your last month of coaching, and we will pause or stop your billing for a year. Great way to save money. And it's for newer existing clients. So, whatever works for you. I've also added a 2-year coaching special. The reason why I decided to do this now is because probably at least 40% of my clients have been on for at least 2 years now. And probably 1/3 of them have been on for over 3 years. That's just the way my business has kind of turned out. I've had a lot of people in for the long run. So I'm going to extend this for those of you that have been with me for quite a while, a 2-year coaching special, only $10.99. You can head over to superlivingtoday.com, click the coaching tab, and that special is there. Now, one more thing before we get into things, okay? I want to show you guys one more thing, and then we are going to get moving. So one more thing, don't go anywhere, then we'll get into your questions. And I want to show you this. If you go over to my website and you click the coaching tab, which, let's see, present share screen, we'll just show you. Click the coaching tab. You get the regular coaching, which is $89.40 a month after the first month. You get the $6.99 special, the $10.99 2-year special, and I've also added something called Premium Unlimited. I did not mention this in the Black Friday special because I'm only going to be doing 3 of these. This is a new addition to my coaching service. It is $2,264.80. Okay. Basically, I know that's a lot of money. It sounds like a lot of money. It is a year of coaching. And the difference between the Premium Unlimited, which is going to be, I don't know, what is it, $175, $180 a month, and normal coaching is that here I put limited to 5. Right now, I'm just going to limit it to 3. This is Premium All Access partnership with you guys. You get a monthly video call where we go over everything. You can hit me up on WhatsApp Unlimited 7 days a week so we can communicate like texting back and forth. I communicate with my clients as it is 5 days a week, but this opens the door to basically unlimited communication back and forth, unlimited form checks. Right now with my coaching service, my clients can send 1 or 2 form videos a day, 7 days a week, and that is a lot of videos. But the for those that want extra form checks and extra accountability, This is unlimited form checks per week, and along with the regular benefits. So basically, it's going to be about twice the cost of normal coaching. You get unlimited form checks, unlimited back and forth messaging, and a monthly video call. All righty. So let's dive into things. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. I have had a kind of a shoulder issue from jiu-jitsu that I've taken off the week from jiu-jitsu, and my last 2 chest workouts have kind of sucked. So I'm hoping to get in a chest workout today or tomorrow, and just to see how things go. So we have a topic for the day. Let's get into things. Red flag, red alert, red flag, red alert. One of the biggest things I want you guys to focus on in the coming new year is this. You're going to receive a lot of information. You're going to receive a lot of, who knows what 2026 is going to give us. There's always some new, degree of nonsense or degree of black and white thinking. It's like, you either have to train all sets to failure or none. You have to train all sets to failure. You get this black and white stuff like, you have to train all sets to failure or you're not going to make gains. You have to train in the 4 to 8 rep range or you're not going to make gains. You have to train using lengthened partials, all this fear stuff, this black and white stuff. So the message that I want to share with you guys is something I really want you to remember headed into the coming year, and that is the narrow path. If anybody gives you a narrow path on training or nutrition, there are some cases where a narrow path could make sense on certain training tools or protocols. But in general, in 99% of the cases, if someone presents you with a narrow path, meaning every set must be to failure, you must use lengthened partials, you must do 4 to 8 rep range, you must use this exercise, you must use this split, bench press isn't good for whatever. 99% of the time, this is a huge red flag, and it is absolute nonsense. And that is really what I want you guys to remember in the new year. And if you have any cases of this, anything you want me to discuss during this live video, please post it up. It is something that we call fear culture. Some influencer will come along and spread some sort of a toxic mind disease, and all of a sudden people will feel like they have to change their training. I have been doing this for a long time, and you guys hear me say this over and over and over again on video. I have no horse in the race. I don't care if you use upper lowers, upper posteriors for bodies, body part splits, because I know I've spent my life working with these people, interviewing these people, documenting and detailing body transformation stories, the training of successful pro natural bodybuilders. I've worked with IFBB pros. I've done content development from everybody from John Meadows to Mike Rashid to Ronnie Coleman's team to Jay Cutler's team. You name it. This is, I've worked in the industry for a long time, and I've gotten to work with not just professional natural bodybuilders, professional IFBB pros, tons and tons and tons of body transformation stories, and just working with so many people. The one thing I've learned is they basically all train differently. Now, in the lifting landscape, there's 2 ways to approach that. Fear, right? They all train differently. What does this mean? I'm scared. Or freedom. And what I teach on this channel is freedom. Now, I have something called the Massive Iron Pillars of Success. And the Pillars of Success, I don't know if I have it here in my, the Pillars of Success, you can go to my website, superlivingtoday.com, and search Pillars of Success. When the basic 10 pillars of success are in place, you can basically train however you want. as long as you have a progression approach in for each exercise, you have a reasonable split, a reasonable selection of exercises, you're focused on hard training, and you're nailing your nutrition. If you have all these things in place, then you can use whatever split you want. You can basically use whatever selection of exercises you want as long as they're reasonable. You can use whatever rep ranges you want as long as they're reasonable. And I get into reasonable in most of my videos, but remember, headed into 2026, that if anybody gives you a narrow path, it's only the 4 to 8 rep range, or every set must be to failure, or you must use a magical split, or any of this other nonsense, it is a huge red flag. And there is no other way to put it, but they are not giving you the whole truth. I hate to say they are lying, but they are not giving you the whole truth. Maybe they believe it, so there wouldn't be a lie in their brain. So always remember, when you get these black and white solutions to training, they are involved with what I call fear culture, a limited or narrow path. And if you study the history of lifting, you understand that the path is broad. That should be a freeing thing. You can use whatever split you want as long as it's reasonable. Whatever quality selections of exercise you want as long as it's reasonable. Whatever rep ranges you want for a specific exercise as long as it's reasonable. And whatever progression approach you want for an exercise as long as it's reasonable. It is a long journey. Enjoy the journey and leave fear culture behind. All right, let's get into things. Rico, good to see you. This video sponsored by Purple Monster. Not really. Just drinking a Purple Monster as a backup. These were at Ollie's. They're outright. 5 calories a piece. Ooh, contains 1% juice. Sometimes I like to drink things that aren't overkilling me with caffeine, so that's my fun little thing for the day. By the way, I keep this little handy dandy thing at my desk. I thought this was going to be a big piece of crap, right? I thought I bought this set on Amazon. It had a bunch of different grip thingies, and I thought it was going to be a piece of crap, but you can actually turn this to make it tighter or looser. So if you don't want to dive into getting the entire set of Captains of Crush grippers, you can get this thing and adjust the tension. And for the price, it's a pretty darn good deal. I sit there and do like 5 deliberate reps on each hand, and then I'll relax, and then I'll switch it over. So if you're wondering what I'm doing half the time when I'm doing my work, it's doing a little bit of this action. That's it. All righty. Rico, what's the plans moving forward? For me, I've had a wonderful time lifting. I'm going to finish off my phase 2 of my cut by the end of the year, and then we'll go head into phase 3. And I got a new program coming out. It's going to be one of my most exciting programs I've put out to date. Really, really excited about it. I'm not going to give away details, but you guys know I put out a lot of programs. This one is going to be on par with my best, the Power Muscle System. I'm super excited. I'm going to start it next week, and I'm going to detail it next week, and I'm going to give it away for free. I'm going to be having a small group where anybody that wants to jump into the new program, you can join the small group. That's not going to cost a thing. Richard, good to see you, Richard. Good morning. Hope your Thanksgiving was great. Thank you. I hope yours was solid as well. Could you please share this week's story, but like the Thanksgiving edition? Sure. My wife received her naturalization last week, a week before Thanksgiving. She is officially a U.S. citizen. My wife is from Australia. And she wanted to put together a Thanksgiving meal. It was her first Thanksgiving as a U.S. citizen. She made all the food yesterday. It was wonderful. A lot of veggies, and sure, I'll bring up a photo. Why not? show you what kind of funky dunky food I had for Thanksgiving. All right. Present, share screen. I'll show you what she made. So where are we at? Not sure if you can see that. Maybe I can make it bigger. So I always like fresh corn on the cob. I'm from Wisconsin, can't beat it. Over here at the top, that cheesy looking thing, it's cheese on top of green beans. And over here, you have Brussels sprouts and bacon. Over here, you have a vegetable medley with broccoli and squash and that sort of thing. Mashed potatoes with heavy cream and cheese, turkey. I actually went back for a second helping and did a lot of turkey and a lot of taters. And tonight I'm going to be crushing the rest of the vegetables. That's what we did. So my wife made that for her first Thanksgiving in America. And yeah, I was just, that was our Thanksgiving day. We spent it together. We went on a 75-minute hike to start the morning to build up an appetite, right? And then we crushed that. That's my Thanksgiving. That's my story of the week. Since it's Thanksgiving season, I wanted to say thanks for the time you spent helping out. Thank you, Richard. Not just with the longest podcast in YouTube history, but for always being available to lend a hand and giving advice to anybody that needs it. Thank you. These sorts of statements really honestly keep me going, and I appreciate them. I wake up every day here to help. Obviously, I'm not the biggest or the most badass influencer in the world, but I wake up every morning to help. DMs, Team Massive. If you're not on Team Massive, just check out the link to the Discord server in the previous video, or just hit me up on Instagram. I'll give you a link. It's free. It's a wonderful community. It's a big part of my day, and I thank everybody on Team Massive. You guys mean the world to me. I don't know where I would be without you guys, so I appreciate each and every one of you. Good morning, Big Ernie P. Good morning, Justin Jones. Justin just got on the coaching trail, this coaching path this week. Glad to have you on board. And Big Joe B from Canada. Good to see you, Joe. Morning, gang, Massive gang. Everybody's here from Team Massive this morning. Good to have you guys. Live starts now. Let me get a drink. We're 24 minutes in. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. Big Bob, good to see you, Bob. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And Shelly, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving as well. We are not almost there. Once you sell that house, you might be almost there. So until then, you are not almost there. Legendary Beanie. Your video on how much muscle you can gain naturally. I'm 5'11". It gave me hope years ago, and it's kept me natty. My peak was 200 at 16% body fat, aiming to go to 188 at 12%. So, yeah, I mean, if you are 5'10", which is what I am, your lean body mass potential is roughly 178 to 180. Roughly. We're not making rules. This is a, rough generalization, but it is backed by an incredible amount of research. And if you're 5'11", your natural lean body mass potential is around 183 to 185. So, being around 260% body fat is very, very reasonable. 188 at 12%, reasonable as well. If any of you guys ever want me to estimate your body fat percentage, you can always hit me up on Instagram or Team Massive. Send me a photo via DM if you want, or just send me a link to an Instagram picture. I can kind of help you. If you want a good starting point to where your current lean body mass is, make sure you measure your arms and legs flex. That gives me this is really, along with looking at a photo, is all the information I need to kind of understand where you are in your muscle building journey. So if you have 16.5-inch arms and you're 15% body fat, I know you're you're doing really well. You're above 80% of your natural potential because of your arm size relative to your body fat percentage size, etc. So if any of you guys want me to analyze that, you can simply send me a photo. Give me your arm measurements if you have them, and we can put together a reasonable guesstimation. Big Scott, your thoughts on using the Smith machine for barbell rows, as long as it feels good. The Smith, you can pull towards you, you can pull away. Obviously, you probably want to pull towards you. As long as it feels good, that's fine. When it comes to Smith exercises, you just have to make sure they feel good for you. That's the key thing. So, if it does feel unnatural, you don't use it then. But there's no way to tell. I have folks that do Smith machine rows that absolutely love them. I would say 80% of my clients use barbell row variations like the Pendley row, and they absolutely love them. Doesn't matter as long as it feels natural to you. Woodulus, greetings from Scotland. Good to see you, my friend. My family's doing Thanksgiving today. Nice. Thank you for representing, and I hope it fits when you're done. Enjoy all that food. Can you talk about the magic of the 10-pound bulk? You bet. For anybody that is not familiar with the Massive Iron bulking system, structure, whatever, you can head over to the main page of my YouTube, and you can search bulk, and there's tons of free information. If you want the PDF, this is it right here. It's on my website, superlivingtoday.com. You can head over and search bulk, and it's 8 million pages of information. One of the most detailed bulking PDFs you're going to get. We are on page 43 here. I forgot how many pages it was, so we're on page 63 here. 63 pages. So it is 63 pages of information, not fluff. And it details the Massive Iron bulking system. And you can look based on if you're overweight, you want to hold weight, you want to gain weight, depending on where you are. If you want to lose 50 pounds, how to approach bulking. If you want to lose 30 to 50 pounds, how to approach bulking. If you just want to lose a little weight, how to approach bulking. Everything is detailed here in a lot of really, really good examples. So the Massive Iron bulking protocol, we want to stay in a bulk. The basic premise or the basic structure allows you to stay in a bulk generally at least 9.5 months out of the year. That's the goal, 9.5 months to 10 months out of the year. Anytime you're doing body recomposition, you're going to have some periods during the year where you're going to be cutting fat, a little bit of fat. The Massive Iron bulking system is not a bulking system. It is not a fat bulking system. You're not going to gain fat rapidly. If you're doing a 10-pound bulk, you might gain 4 or 5 or maybe 6 pounds of fat maximum, and then you can just do a quick mini cut and boom, it's gone. You can get back to bulking. That's the beautiful thing about the system. We start, and these are not rules. You can bulk longer if you're leaner, okay? But we start at about a 10-pound bulk. Basically, you're looking to gain about 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds per month, upwards of like 2.5 pounds per month. Red line, maximum 3 pounds per month. So by staying in this lane, this range, it allows you to bulk at least 80 to 85% of the year. And who doesn't want to be in a slight surplus 80 to 85% of the year without getting fat? That's the key. So you're putting yourself in a position where you're in a calorie surplus most of the year. And it's a good complement to your hard training. If you focus on gaining 1 kilo a month or say 10 pounds, you're going to gain maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 pounds of fat, and that will come off very, very quickly during a mini cut. But if you do this cycle over and over again, 10-pound bulk, mini cut, 10-pound bulk, mini cut, it's just going to put you in a position to maximize your muscle gains. A lot of people don't want to bulk because they fear aggressive bulking. We're not aggressive. We're not aggressively bulking here. So that fear goes out the window. And there's no downside to being in a calorie surplus, only a potential upside. Now, the main downside to structured bulking is it's almost in some ways harder than structured cutting because, sure, you can have fun. You can have pizza every now and then, beer every now and then. But if you're somebody that goes way over in your calories 2 to 3 times a week, any bulking system is going to let you down because, it's okay to have fun. But if you're constantly going way over your calories, no bulking system can save you. You're just going to get fat. So bulking requires you to be semi-regulated and semi-consistent. And that's the only real downside. So if you have any more questions, please head over to the main page of my YouTube, search bulking, and you will find a million. Let me just do it right now, just for fun, just to show you, to walk you guys through it. The YouTube studio, okay, your YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I am going to share the screen, do the thing. You go over the main page of YouTube, and I got it shrunk down a little bit. Let me do this so you can see the searchy worchy button. So you go here into the searchy worchy and you search bulk, that 4-letter word, bulk, boing. And you have a world of information. I've been doing, next year will be my 15th year on YouTube. Are short and long-term bulks better? How to structure a long-term, lean, clean bodybuilding bulk. The magic of the 10-pound bulk, which is what we're talking about here. Can arm size determine how fast you should bulk? How aggressively should you bulk? The 4-month bulk, how much muscle can you build? How to run a successful bulk, not a fat bulk. How to bulk when lean or after fat loss when you're afraid to bulk. Help feeling fat when bulking. Best ways to pull off a lean bulk. How to better bulk, 3-year lean bulk. 3 tips to pull off a successful bulk. How to bulk and get fat, little tongue in cheek. How to crush a bulk. And will I get super fat on a bulk. This is basically a book of bulking information. Probably 3 hours of joy and happiness and everything you would ever need to know on running a clean, lean bulk for free. So the word bulk is accompanied in the massive iron world with free. All the information, nearly every bit of information you can find on my website, you can get for free on YouTube. Okay. This is my website, superlivingtoday.com, blah, blah, blah. If you search bulk at my website, you get the bulking PDF, $24.99. That's it. Tons of great information. And just because we searched bulk, there are a couple of bulking t-shirts on my website. If you want some bulk, we bulk on our bulk, the old donut. I got a couple of t-shirts over here. Why not? One for the women, She Bulk, like She-Hulk. And this is just a silly one, the Incredible Bulk. Look at the fat gut instead of like the Incredible Hulk. Ha, ha, ha. We're funny. And then we have Massive Bulk, 10 pounds up. Just stuff I've put together over the years for folks that wanted a few t-shirt options other than all the stuff. So that's it. Enough of the commercials. All right. Will Diaz, good to see you, my friend. What's the story with that old catcher's mitt behind you? Good catch. That's right there. It's a ancient catcher's mitt, and it's really, really hard to see. I was a catcher for 10, 11 years. And I loved being a catcher. I played the position from Little League all the way up to Babe Ruth. And a lot of times we will go to antique stores just to look around. Occasionally you'll find some really, really ancient baseball stuff. This is a really, really old catcher's mitt. Now, it's not anybody big, any big Major League Baseball catcher's mitt or catcher's mask, but it's ancient. It's one of the OGs, right? It's rusty, it's iron. Somebody put it through a war, and it's in a couple of different pieces, so I can't really pull it off. There's a catcher's mitt below it, a really ancient catcher's mitt right below it as well. You can see that right there. Morning, big hairy ugly dude and Team Massive. Have you been doing body part splits for 23 weeks and loving it? I'm hanging around 111 kilos for 2 months and seem bit stagnant, although lifts are going up. Well, you got to do one or the other. I mean, the magic for body composition is going up or going down. You always have to be going up or going down, when you are, trying to improve your body composition. So you have to do something. Now, 111 kilos is, let me just figure this out into pounds, 244. That's what I call the heart attack zone. No judgment. I'm just telling you strict longevity statistics. When you get to men that are 240 pounds or more, regardless of height, enter what we call the heart attack zone. So when you look at longevity statistics, that means that you're carrying around more mass, you're more likely to have a heart attack as you age. The heart has to maintain more mass. Now it's your call what you weigh, but I don't like to see men get above 240 pounds. I'd rather have you bulking between 220 and 230, to be honest. So I do understand your lifts are going up. That's good. I would probably consider heading into the new year and doing a quick cut. The new year is usually a good place to start for most people. And then, maybe hitting the 10-pound bulk cycle after that. AI says judging on pictures between 15 and 19%. You said 111 kilos and 197. What's your height? Let me know what your height is. If you want me to look at it and give you a guesstimate of your body fat percentage, please do. I will say, for anybody that's curious, when you don't have any love handle fat, when you don't have any real chest fat, no real lower belly fat, or no real lower back fat, then you are generally at 18% or lower. If you have a little bit of these, then you are generally at 18% or higher, or above 18%. So just keep that in mind visually. And thank you for joining and becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate that. Thank you for doing this. You're one of the YouTubers who help. Thank you. I appreciate it. Help me get better. A workout alone. So how would spotter arms help my bench? No, not really. I mean, I've used spotter arms over the years on most of my benching. I set them, probably right at chest level or an inch below chest level. So if I have to shrink a little bit, it'll catch the weight. I don't go any deeper than that. You can keep the bar an inch or two off your chest at home. It's not going to be anything game-changing. There's nothing arbitrary that says you have to take the bar to your chest on every bench set. So just understand that, you could do that as well. As long as you're controlling the weight down, you're absolutely fine. But you kind of want to have it at chest level or an inch below chest level. Anywhere you can get it where you can lower it and not be bonking the pins, because you don't want to be bonking the pins. I set mine so if I fail, I could kind of just go completely flat back and it would immediately hit the pins. This takes some nuance and some, you know, a little bit of finagling time to figure out, but it is well worth it. On a bench press set, when you reach a slowing of speed, that generally means the next rep is going to fail. I like to push bench sets hard, and even after 40 years, sometimes one of them catches up to me. But outside of that, um, the bench press is one of the most dangerous exercises. Anything can happen. You can have your elbow twitch, your pinky twitch, your nozzle twitch, right? You could have anything happen, and you could drop that bar right on your big fat watermelon head. Not that Uber MX has a fat watermelon head, I do, or on your neck. That's not good stuff. That's not a good day. On a squat, you drop the bar, it hits the floor, maybe it rolls off and smashes a wall or a mirror, but nobody gets hurt. A deadlift, what's the worst thing that can happen? Pass out because of the blood pressure, stress, and bonk your big watermelon on a dumbbell. Yeah, that could be a bad day. But on a bench, probably one of the most dangerous exercises if you don't have a spotter, even if you do have a spotter. I am 100% spotter arms, guys. I'm 100%. I'm not going to lecture you, but here's your non-lecture lecture. Big Justin. Not sure if I asked this before, but are stimulant-free pre-workouts? Not necessarily. Do your research. Mike from the group from Germany has put together some good ingredients. Let's do the AI thing, just for fun and giggles, and see, what it says. Because since it's been 5 years since I've been out of the supplement industry, I'm not a supplement guy. I'm no supplement expert. But in the supplement industry, I would occasionally have to write articles about ingredients or stay up on ingredients. If I wanted to build a home brew non-stim pre-workout, which ingredients are worth it scientifically, why, and what are the dosages? All right, let's see what the AI has to say. Obviously, it can be incorrect and not always perfect, but this will give us a good launching pad as far as just opening discussions. L-citrulline, that's pretty common. 6 to 10 grams increases nitric oxygen production. I figured that would be in there. Citrulline malate, very, very popular. That should be worth considering. Creatine, you want to take at least 5 grams daily. There's no way. If you're going to take 3 grams in a non-stim pre-workout, you need to take the rest to get it up to 5 grams at some other point in the day. So you might as well have 5. Now, betaine anhydrous. Sorry, I was going to say beta alanine. I thought it was trying to slip that in. Betaine anhydrous supports power output and muscular endurance by improving cellular hydration and methylation processes. Studies show modest improvements in strength and work capacity. At some of the point, it's like, we know this isn't magic, right? But if some of the studies show some potential, the question is, what are the downsides if I have a couple extra bucks? Should I buy a Starbucks coffee or maybe some betaine anhydrous, right? Taurine helps with muscular contraction, blah, blah, blah. Glycerol. These are all ones that I expected. Electrolytes, good addition. Beetroot extract and tyrosine. So this combination, citrulline malate, creatine, betaine, taurine, glycerol, sodium, potassium, magnesium, better pumps, improve performance, enhanced hydration, no jitters, no crash. Don't underestimate this one right here, because just from a general energy standpoint, sodium is the energy electrolyte, and being under in sodium is not a good thing. Skip arginine, BCAAs, beta alanine. Thank you for skipping beta alanine. Beta alanine in most pre-workouts is window dressing. It's something you need to take every day, generally a couple of times, generally a couple times a day. It is something that needs to accrue in your system to have benefit. And taking beta alanine just during your pre-workout doesn't do much of anything. So there you have it. I hope that helps you some. Big Scotty, I'm delighted that Fiona got her citizenship and wish blessings. Why am I lisping? Wish blessings upon you and your now all-American household. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really, it was a very emotional day for me. My wife has been here forever, and, it's just a stressful thing when you are getting involved in, moving to a new country. So it's just one of those things. I'm glad it's over. And for those of you guys that don't know, my wife does a lot of modeling, and this isn't, OnlyFans stuff. My wife has been on I think 50 magazine covers to date. This is one of her recents, and she does a lot of photo shoots on the weekend for the magazine covers. So she's been on a lot of magazine covers. This is just one of the recent. So she is also an amazing seamstress, one of the best seamstress in the whole entire universe. She just did a fashion show recently. My wife is from Australia. She do an American accent. Not really well. Not really well. Where are Chi-Chi and the rest of the gang? They are upstairs. We have a fifth dog now called Mook, Mookie Mook, Mook Mook. And they were conked out after Thanksgiving. For those of you that haven't seen Mook Mook Buddy Buddy Mook Mook, I'll show you the old Mookster just for fun. We gave them extra veggies and whatnot. I don't know where they are. Hold on. I was going to show you the Mookster. I thought I had the old Mookster photo handy. Oh, here they are. So, hold on. What else do we have to do? None of us want to work on a Friday anyway. This is my food coma dogs. Share screen. Chi-Chi's usually hiding under the blanket. So Chi-Chi tends to hide under the blanket. The big gray one there with the white chest, that's Blue. And this is Bubba Sausages in the middle. Mook Mook's at the bottom. He's a wonderful addition to the family. I love Mookie. He's a really fun guy, and he's very affectionate. Just a wonderful dog. So that's Mook Mook Buddy Buddy Mook Mook. And Chi-Chi's under the blanket. He's the smaller of the crew, and he gets colder easy. So Chi-Chi tends to hide under the blanket a little bit. And there's the Mookster. There's Mookie. You can see his eye, his left eye, or the eye on your right, is half green at the top, half blue at the bottom. He's a very unique character. And let's see. There's Chi-Chi hiding in there with the Mookster. Can you talk about steady-state cardio versus shorter, more intense? So the meat and potatoes of what we should do for general health is get in some extra steps per week. Not getting in enough steps has been equated to the equivalent of smoking. I don't think it's that dramatic, but it is in our best interest to get in a decent amount of average weekly steps. It can be any type of movement. Walking, swimming, it doesn't have to be punishing or more intense. So you want to have a good baseline of just steady state general movement for overall health. Now, we also have what we would call more interval training, or something that gets your heart rate up. So you can really do this. You want to probably do this at least once a week if you enjoy it, twice a week, where you go a little bit quicker of a pace. This can be with um, walking, running, swimming, hiking, doing hill repeats, something where you do 15 seconds to 60 seconds of something that elevates your heart rate a little bit, and then maybe bring it back down to normal until your heart rate normalizes, and then do something that elevates your heart rate again for 15 seconds to 60 seconds and repeat. So something that pushes your heart rate up, gets it back to normal, pushes it up. You probably want to do something like that at least once a week. Most of us have pretty busy schedules, so getting in your steady state or general steps or movement each week is a good thing, and then adding in, some form of interval training or surging training once a week is a good idea. Currently, I burn about 400 calories during 45 minutes incline treadmill, but I'd like to get my heart rate up while burning less while I try to bulk. Yeah, I mean, 20 to 25 minutes where you do 15 to 20 seconds of a faster pace that gets your heart rate up, and then the rest of the minute normal pace. You could do that for 20 to 25 minutes, and it would be good for your overall health and general conditioning, and you wouldn't have to go as long. What's your opinion on aggressive cuts? Absolutely, perfectly fine. The biggest issue that you see when it comes to aggressive cutting is that people fear muscle loss, and that is not the case. You are not going to lose muscle during a cut. If you do, it's only going to be trivial. And if you do, it's not gone forever. It's the belief that if you do an aggressive cut or a cut, you're going to lose all kinds of muscle mass is basically nonsense. It's a non-issue. I've had a couple of natural bodybuilders that I have interviewed over the years that have competed at least 80 times, not even lying. And if these guys were losing muscle mass in the long run doing a cut, they would be a stick figure. What happens is you get glycogen depleted, and you might lose a little bit of strength during a cut, and it messes with your head. And it feels like you're losing mass, but in the long run, you're not losing mass. Even if you would lose a couple grams, even if you would lose a couple of grams during a cut of muscle mass, muscle memory is a real thing, and it would come back immediately when you get back off the cut. So it's absolutely nothing to worry about. There's no downside to an aggressive cut as long as you can sustain it. What does PDF stand for on the website? Private DITI files, or personal document for your perusal. That's not a real book. All right, guys, we got about 5 questions left on this Black Friday. Just a last call. Just want to give you a warning. Black Friday with these lives tends to go by pretty quickly. Everybody's out with their carb comas and their turkey comas. I will stay on as long as you guys got questions. So we have 5 questions left. I think we covered this one. Eating healthy and blood markers are okay. Yeah, I mean, 6'4", 197 centimeters. When your body weight is above 240, even if your health markers are okay, you need to understand that when your heart has to carry around more mass, there's always a slight inherent danger in that zone, even if you're healthy. Now, being healthy is a big advantage, right? But, still, I'd like to see men stay under 240 pounds. Tall men in general, tall men don't live as long. And during my time in the fitness industry as a writer, I had to do a lot of, materials on longevity. So let's look at it real quick because we do have some time. What are the longevity statistics for tall men? All right, let's try to fix that. As far as general impact on lifespan, and once any man reaches over 240 pounds, what potential heart attack risk occurs from carrying around the extra mass? Peer longevity statistics. Sorry. All right, so let's just look at it real quick because we have time and we're almost done. And again, if you have any questions, get them in. I will stay on as long as you have questions. So we're letting it think. Tall men and general longevity, men over 240 pounds. I have an article at Tiger Fitness that I put together on longevity statistics, for men in general. Taller men tend to have lower cardiovascular disease, coronary heart risk, but slightly higher cancer risk, overall effects on total lifespan. The risks depend a lot on height. Once a man's weight puts him into the obesity range, the average risk of coronary disease, heart attack, and blah, blah, blah. Extreme obesity is associated with largest reductions in life expectancy, 10 to 14 years lost. When I did an article at Tiger Fitness on men over 240, 250, the average lifespan decrease was about 7 years. When you are extremely obese, and you guys have heard me talk about this, and a lot of us men, I was extremely obese, lose 10 to 14 years off their life. So greater adult height is associated with roughly 10 to 15% lower odds of coronary heart disease, but 5 to higher cancer. I thought there was some information that taller men didn't live as long because of the extra weight that they carried around. Tall men don't. I'm not sure if it's missing something. Your research indicates that taller men tend to have shorter lifespans compared to their. Some of this is just. I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to, start a fire in a crowded theater, but basically, long story short, the more mass or weight your heart has to sustain, generally, the more challenging it becomes. So just be very, very aware of that. Doing a 3-day weekly full body workout protocol, headed up by day one's back squat and bench press, day 2 deadlift and incline, day 3 squat and overhead. Sounds reasonable. Lots of heavy pendlay rows and T-bar rows. Sounds good. Today is my new day 4, body weight and dumbbell exercise. I like that you're doing both of those, especially the dumbbell exercises. Burpees, push-ups, back extensions, chin-ups, dips, dumbbell curls, rows, overhead Arnolds. Looks pretty reasonable. All right, thanks. And sorry, Ralph, I didn't mean to take us down 800 rabbit holes. Walking is the most underrated form of exercise. Absolutely. Just general steps. If you're getting in your general steps, it's easy on the body, easy on the joints. And being outside in nature has just so many benefits, when it comes to stress. I find when I go out and run for an hour, I'm not going out there to think about anything, but I get so many wonderful ideas, and it's good for my creative process. What would be a good alternative to the BTN press due to shoulder mobility issues? Well, we have to establish number one, are you trying to go too low? On a BTN, you really only have to go to mid ear or lower ear. I'm trying to balance this because um, you can see your elbows are well below your shoulders. So you don't have to take it down to your shoulders. I used to only take it right here, mid ear. If you can't do that, and I can't do BTN anymore because I'm older, I don't have the mobility. The best thing you can do is maybe do a seated dumbbell overhead, or you can do a standing single arm dumbbell overhead. But those would be your best choices. The only thing less healthy than AAS abuse is obesity. Uh, I would toss alcohol abuse and cigarette smoking abuse and onto that pile. And Rolf, whoops, thank you. I heard you. I'm a bit worried myself. Yeah, I mean, if I was coaching you, we'd probably try to get your weight down to 225 so you could bulk, between 225 to 240. But use your best judgment. I'm not trying to be alarmist. Use your best judgment. Big Scott. Next year, if you want, I will show you around Lac Le Monde. If you love nature, we actually spent some time around Lac Le Monde. But yeah, I want to make it over the UK next year. That's on my to-do list. I'm going to be going up to Scotland for at least 3 or 4 days just for personal, personal enjoyment, a little bit of a mini vacation. I've been to Lac Le Monde. We travel. One of the things we did when we went over to Scotland was we just got away from the big areas, and we I'm just trying to look at it on a map. There's a gym, and I can't remember where the gym was when we were headed to the Isle of Skye, Lac Le Monde. Yeah, that's more in the middle. I know where it is. Yeah, I was certain that I'd been there. I think we actually ran the whole length of Lac Le Monde while we were there, but I can't remember. I assume this crowd was exercise focused. Thank you for going live and helping everyone out. No questions right now, just grateful. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys need any help in any way, I'm always here to help. I did the West Highland Way with both my sons and the White Shepherd hammocked at Lac Le Monde. It was great. I can't tell you how much I love Scotland. I can't tell you how much I love it. It is something. I would love to have just a small cabin where I could go over there a couple times a year just to relax and work and just enjoy the lower stress. One of the beautiful things about Scotland is it doesn't have a McDonald's every 5 feet, and the nature is just absolutely insane. The sights, just the whole experience. Not to mention the breakfast. Absolutely love Scotland in every possible way. So my last name is Shaw. Part of my family comes from Scotland. If you trace my lineage back, I got 2 basic prongs of lineage. My great-grandparents came from Volga, Russia. They were Russian Germans, and they came over before World War II. Long story short, Germans that were living in Russia were considered possibly threats, even if they were just not doing anything but living in Russia as Russians, but were previously German citizens. So my family escaped. Half of my family escaped before World War II. I actually have a flag, the Volga Russian flag here in my gym to honor my heritage. And the other side of my family, a lot of them came over in the early 1600s from America, some of them from England and some of them from Scotland. Last name Shaw goes all the way back. 25 kilogram backpack was great exercise, I imagine. Why do people waste time on the treadmill? My cardio called taking my dog to the park daily. Yeah, look, I get it. I get it. You I am someone that's always going to be whatever form of exercise you can do whenever it's convenient, get after it, my friend, get after it. That's the type of person I'm going to be 100% always. Uh, I think we all should try to get out and walk just in nature, fresh air. It's good for the soul, it's good for stress. So I'm right there with you. Don't miss the west coast of Scotland. Uh, Ullapool and the Isle. Oh yeah, um hold on. We did the basically complete ring around Scotland. We did not spend time in the big cities. We spent 10 days there. Oops. And let me just bring up a map and why not? We don't want to work and we're almost done with questions. So I'll just stall a little bit and we can look. When we went to Scotland, we landed in, where did we land? Let me shrink it down a little bit. So we landed in Inverness, right? And we went up to Elgin. One of our first places was Elgin. And then we cut down, let's see, went to Elgin. We cut down to Edinburgh. So we went along the East Coast, down around Edinburgh. And then Edinburgh was one of the few big cities we went around. We went from Edinburgh, we went around to the Stirling Castle, Loch Lomond. I think that's where we met Castle Dog. So we came from Loch Lomond. We actually went up to Fort William. So I didn't go over to the Isle of Mull. We went up to Fort William. I trained at Wolf's Gym in Fort William, which is still around. And then from Fort William, we went up to the Isle of Skye. And we came back down over to Ullapool. We went to the Ullapool bookstore. And man, we went up near Durness. Holy crap. We were at an Airbnb right off, literally with this view. I swear it was like that view. We were literally on that land. It was so cold and snowy and rainy. It was just unbelievable, just how cold and nasty it was. We had no food, so we had to go to some really rural store, and we were eating like ramen and bread and just bare minimums. From there, we went over to John O'Groats, and we went down from John O'Groats back to Inverness where we left. So we did kind of the circle from Inverness to Elgin, over to Aberdeen, and then we, went down to Edinburgh, Glasgow, Loch Lomond, Fort William, from Fort William to Isle of Skye. Once we got to John O'Groats, we did the entire coast from, Wick to, I didn't mind Wick at all. Wick was a pretty decent city. The only thing we really didn't do was cut through from like Inverness to Fort William. So we didn't see like this middle area of Scotland. All right, where are we at? There's my boring vacation story. Do you think today's bodybuilding is mostly machine training and steps for cardio? No, not really. I think you see some of that on social media, but in my experience, that's not the case. When I see lifters that are seasoned lifters, most of them, I've never seen anybody machine only. You might see it occasionally on social media, but that's not real world. That's what we would call a simulacra, a creation of reality, but not really reality. I've never seen it in all my life. How would you incorporate fat bar training? I wouldn't. I think it's super overrated. I think it's a distraction. I've seen people using the fat grips on everything. Yes, they can make things more difficult, but not generally in the way we want to make it more difficult. We don't want to make a bench press more difficult because of the grip, or a curl more difficult because of the grip, because we're taking away from the areas we're trying to stress using the bench press and the curl. So I'm not saying never use fat bar or fat grips, but I think they're way overused. I've seen some people just get drunk on them and use them for everything. You could use them if you're doing strongman type of training, or you're doing you want to do some grip type of training at the end of your workout. You could incorporate them, but don't be one of those guys that uses it on everything, because we tend to take away from building the areas we're trying to build because we're doing like fat grips or fat bar. How would you recommend doing CSRs? I'm not sure what that is. What's a CSR? CSR. You got me there. I have no idea. Chest supported row? Is that it? Strongman conditioning routine? What's a CSR? Chest supported row, conditioning strongman routine. Fill me in. Let's see. I get bruises on my back from squatting. Good. You should. How are you able to handle? It's just part of the torture. It's what we call the squat tattoo. It never gets easier. It doesn't. But I'll tell you, 400 kind of felt the same as 640. So you just have to make sure you got it on top of the meaty part of your traps and on your neck. Best angle for a dumbbell bench form check doesn't really matter as long as I can see you. That's a very forgiving exercise, meaning there's not a lot we have to look at. I want to make sure your feet aren't dancing around, that your feet are planted. But overall, it's a pretty forgiving exercise and not anything you need to over worry about. All right, guys, just a reminder before we go, and I'm going to wait around in case we have any more questions. Superlivingtoday.com. Please head out. Check out my website if you want a few of the Black Friday deals we have going on right now. Custom workout, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, search custom, only $29. Flags, I got 4 different flags for only $24.99, perfect for the home gym. Massive Iron t-shirt, come represent, only $9.99. Drawstring bag, $19.99. These are amazing. Come get a gym bag, even if you don't care about having a massive iron on it. The massive omnibus, only $9.99 each book. That's a big savings. Phone consultation, I'd love to talk with you and help. Only $69. Year of coaching, $6.99. Big savings. 2-year coaching, $10.99. That is it. Let's see. I was asking about the CSR. I don't know what you mean, though. What does CSR stand for? Chest supported row or strongman conditioning training. We didn't establish that, so I want to make sure I understand. Any news on your trip to England? Come January 1st, I am going to look at scheduling things. I have to find a gym that will accommodate me in England. It's going to be outside of London, at least by 30 minutes, because I don't want to be in a big city, period, end of story. I want to be in a city that's maybe 20 to 60,000 people where we can gather, have fun, do a lifting seminar, shoot the crap, have a meal, maybe a few beers, just have some fun, not just lifting. So I will let you guys know the beginning of the year. I'm also going to maybe try to get over to Sweden or Norway for a day or two. I have a lot of folks and clients over there. And then I'm going to go up to Scotland for fun. I have 50% of my clients are outside of the United States. So many folks over there from, oh man, I can't even begin to name all the countries: Greece, Italy, Romania, Bulgaria, Sweden, Norway, France, Germany, England, Scotland, Ireland, just tons and tons and tons. I was in the hospital for 10 months. Sorry to hear that. And this podcast kept me hopeful. Glad to hear that, my man. Thank you. Just update me on how you're doing. I hope you're doing a lot better now. All right, guys, that's it. 75 minutes of joy. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Let's go attack that damn iron. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will talk to you next Friday.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.